Police have arrested 2 people, including a child, in a series of violent incidents, including a homicide. CP24's Jamie Gutfreund joins us live from Toronto Police Headquarters here in the studio with a closer look at the investigation. Jamie.
Yeah, we heard from police earlier today about this disturbing incident that took place on the early morning of August 31st. Police announcing the arrest of a 12-year-old and a 20-year-old man in connection with these violent beatings that took place, including 3 of the 5 victims are believed to have been unhoused individuals at the time, and also police confirming that both of these suspects were on release order at the time. With more on this and kind of the broader discussions around bail reform, I want to bring in the CTV safety analyst Chris Lewis. We appreciate your time as always, Chris. The reality is probably a surprise to not a lot of people watching our show that both of these individuals were on a release order at the time. And with the House resuming today, I'm curious in your thoughts, how do you think these recent incidents are going to compound the discussions regarding bail reform?
Well, some of these recent incidents don't cause change within the bail reform world, then we're in big trouble. I mean, time after time, you and I have discussed horrific cases, including the murder of a young OPP officer, where the suspects were out on bail for violent crimes. And we've seen the city of Toronto, a number of cases where people are out on violent crimes, committing violent crimes, and released on bail again. Like, at what point does this catch and release system not result in more lost lives, whether that be citizens or police officers? Something has to give.
And furthermore, to those discussions, it's not just those who are being released on bail. It's the nature of these violent incidents being committed by very young people. I'll go down the list. A 16-year-old arrested in connection with the murder of Javé Roy. A 12-year-old charged with attempted murder in a shooting last month in Markham. 14-year-old charged with murder of stabbing a 71-year-old woman who's loading groceries into her car. And before that, there was a 14-year-old charged with first-degree murder with the stabbing of an 80-year-old woman who was just doing her gardening. The reality is, Chris, a lot of these young people who are committing these acts are doing it because they know that when they face the justice system, there's a good chance that they'll be let out. I'm curious, what are your thoughts on the growing discussions about the Youth Criminal Justice Act and whether or not another incident like this is going to compound those discussions, and if anything will be done to reform the act?
Well, you make a real good point. I mean, the Youth Criminal Justice Act really was written long before, in its various iterations, long before this absolute increase in violence by youth that we've seen in the last 3 or 4 years. I mean, there's a number of cases I thought of as you're going through your list that aren't even on the list yet. And it's a scary proposition. What's causing that? Are kids becoming a product of their environment at home? Is it a lack of parenting, or the mental health issues that are being influenced by older people? What is it? And criminologists and sociologists will be studying this forever, but it really is sharply different than it was even 5 or 6 years ago in terms of youth crime.
Chris, when I speak to people like yourself who are in law enforcement, we've heard from heads of police services, even more recently, the Ontario Chiefs of Police all put together a joint statement calling for this. It seems like this is almost like a 90-10 issue when it comes to people in law enforcement, but there's the other side when it comes to politicians. And I'm curious, since we're at this crossroads, where do you see this conversation going to from here?
Well, we know the federal government, the new Liberal government, is ultimately talking about making change. But that yet to be seen. We saw some changes with hate, or proposed within hate legislation just in the last couple of days. So is there more to come? I pray there is. Because not only the police and not only victims' families are concerned about this trend and what's happening or not, as the case may be in terms of the justice system. They're worried about themselves. I mean, when a man can be beaten almost to death or to death in a subway station by a bunch of teenage girls, what has happened? I don't believe that the Youth Criminal Justice Act, and I remember when the old Young Offenders Act, it's the one prior, came into being. I was a uniformed police officer, and we got the odd kid for a break-in or the odd kid for stealing, but we didn't have kids stabbing people to death or beating them to death. So, you know what? The law has to change as society has changed, unfortunately.
And we're going to keep this conversation going, I'm sure. Chris Lewis, we appreciate your time. Thank you. And CJ, I also want to just notify our viewers, Isaiah Byers, 20 of Toronto, and a 12-year-old boy who cannot be identified as per the provisions of the Youth Criminal Justice Act are facing second-degree murder charges, also 3 counts of robbery, 2 counts of assault with a weapon, and aggravated assault. Once again, both were on bail at the time when this happened. And furthermore, police believe that there may have been more people that were approached by these 2 individuals on the morning of August 31st. If you were approached, police would like to hear from you. Back to you for now.
Yeah, certainly not the end of this investigation. Jamie Gutfreund reporting live from the studio. Thanks for this update.